Pourquoi tu gâches ta vie? Don't worry, I'm not doing anything in French. Welcome back to another episode of Trinity Weekly. In this episode, not much has happened in the last week. Going to be covering a really skill-intensive deck at the end of this. But for now, we're just covering the proposed changes list, because it's been finished and banlist voting is up. Just going over the pros and cons of each card, why it should or should not be hit, what people say about them. Get right into it. Phantom Knight's Fogblade, part of the Orcust Bardici deck. Really strong card, very searchable, you can search it turn 1 a lot of the time. Silent Boots and Bardic, search it. If you're searching with Bardic, you get another thing as well. It's just such an incredibly easy card to search, and it's really powerful as well. We've seen it negate attacks, as well as just being straight up Fiendish Chain. Just straight up really powerful card. Orchestrated Babel. This is the Orcust part of the Orc-Bard deck. Orcust is just really the best deck at the moment. It's not oppressively strong, but it's definitely sort of the best deck. If you're not siding against this deck, you probably should be. Babel lets you kind of like cheat the summon limit, kind of like break some of the rules of Trinity a little bit. It's not ridiculously powerful, but people just want to sort of hammer the deck down a little bit. And if we only hit the Phantom Knight side, then the Orcust side is still left alone, and it's still very powerful. So Babel getting banned is the current consensus. Danger Nessie. Dangers are just really strong. Nessie's the one which searches any other danger when it's discarded.
I guess they never miss, huh?
Because it's just going to search up another danger which you can use straight away. Nessie's just sort of the best one. People were going to hit Thunderbird, but we're sort of wising up to how difficult it is to actually resolve some of the dangers sometimes, and discarding Thunderbird to destroy a set isn't actually that powerful. Next up, ABC. People kind of mishmashed on Forbidden or Semi-Forbidden. If you hit it to Forbidden, there's no reason to play ABC cards at all, which is why quite a lot of people are against that. If you hit it to Semi-Forbidden, it means that people can't play 2, which is quite an important factor when you consider that after you summon your first one, you can just tribute it to get your 3 materials, then make the second one straight away. So it kind of avoids destruction. It's just such a difficult card to out. Jackpot 7. Yep, you're hearing that right. Not the strongest deck, but it's just, no one wants to play against instant win conditions. It won like 1 match against one guy. I don't believe the deck is actually good, like at all, but it will beat you if you're not prepared for it. And also it's the least interactive, least fun deck that anyone's come up with in like 6 months of Trinity. Just everyone hates it. Next up we see Magical Scientist to Semi. Yeah, Magical Scientist is legal in Trinity, but it's not really like some sort of absurd combo card like it would be in the TCG. It's kind of just sort of like make a utility fusion and then make Wee Witch's Apprentice or a link of some kind. It's a very generically good card. It's one of the strongest co-forbidden cards. We see it in ABC a lot, summons Rampage Dragon, which can then mill 2 of your ABC pieces. That's kind of cool. We also see it summoning Thousand Eyes Restrict a lot, and then you can go into Wee Witch's Apprentice. Back in the day, you also went into Slack Magician before links came out. The good old days of Trinity. Yeah, it's just a really solid co-card. It helps ABC, which is not oppressively strong, but just a very solid deck. Doesn't really change too much, but if you want to see the co-things change around a little bit, there's a good card to hit. Shaddoll Fusion going from Semi to co. Flip is Shaddolls and Subterrors in the same deck, because they're the 2 like main flip archetypes. The best players kind of just stopped playing it after a while. It was a really solid deck, it still is really strong. Going from Semi to co isn't really going to change Shaddoll Fusion that much. It's not suddenly massively more viable. It just makes it easier to splash Shaddolls into other things, which is something a lot of people want to see. Scapegoat going from co to Semi is something that everyone's been talking about since like the beginning of Links. We all knew it was going to happen one day, and here we are. Yeah, it's probably the best co-forbidden card I can think of. Lost Wind, Heavy Storm Duster. Yeah, these are the sort of like breakout back row cards. I think Solemn Warning is also on this, yeah, right at the end. Just, they're the strongest back row cards being played. Heavy Storm Duster is a really polarizing card. A lot of people think that it's necessary to be Pendulum. If Heavy Storm Duster gets hit, Pendulum is going to get quite a big buff. Oppressively good. I've made jokes before that it's like Delinquent Duo, but realistically, if you set Duster turn 1, your opponent sets 2 back row. It kind of just is Delinquent Duo, but it only hits back row. Mid to late game, after like you can start chaining things to it, it's much more fair. But a lot of the time it's just a straight up +1, which is makes some people really dislike the card. Dino Wrestler Pankratops, really solid card, played a lot in the Altergeist Pankratops deck, that's where the name of the deck comes from. It's kind of like a one-time Trident until you realise that it's also always got 2600 attack, and you can Call of the Haunted it to keep using the effect. Popping anything's really good. Cyber Dragon's summoning condition is really strong. Eater of Millions, Time Maiden, Trunade to Unlimited, these are things that have been on Co-Forbidden since Co-Forbidden was a thing. Some of these, Eater of Millions and Time Maiden, haven't seen much play at all at Co. Not sure if this is just a deck building fashion, or if they're actually underpowered. Eater of Millions, I think, is a very staple card if it was unlimited. Time Maiden, you need more of an engine to make it work, but summoning Zaphion is definitely a really powerful thing you can do. Giant Trunade, on the other hand, I think it's just, the only reason you're ever going to put it in your deck is if you're going for OTKs. Obviously you can sort of bounce your Premature Burial and play it again, but that just makes it not a -1, that makes it sort of like equal on card advantage. Realistically, it's just going to promote OTKs, so kind of against it, but I've always been a big Trunade fan, so maybe we'll see it come to Unlimited just for one format. Pot of Extravagance, going to Co-Forbidden, you know what Pot of Greed does, right? This is Pot of Greed as long as you don't need your extra deck that much. Different in Trinity, since you are hitting 40% of your extra deck, and they're all one-offs unless you're playing Salamangreat. So there's some counter-argument, but I think the general consensus is that Pot of Greed Unlimited for every deck is quite strong. Boral Sword Dragon going to Semi, oh, praise the Lord. Man, the amount of times I've lost to Boral Sword, really pissed off about this card. Just a really easy OTK enabler in Pendulum and any deck that can summon a lot of monsters. Sometimes it's just, oops, Boral Sword, I win. Kind of gives a bit of a negative play experience, but it doesn't come up often enough that it's a huge pressing issue. Metalfoe's Counter and Abyss Actor Melobadonna are the only Pendulum hits that have been proposed. A little bit worrying. People don't wise up to Pendulums, because Pendulums is an incredibly different deck to play. It's got a very different playstyle from every other Trinity deck, since you're kind of cheating your whole mechanic is cheating the summon limit. If you Pendulum summon 3 monsters, that's only 1 summon. Metalfoe's Counter going from Co to Semi doesn't really change too much, just kind of like a tap on the wrist. Melobadonna is kind of just like Monkey Board, but better. Definitely if Heavy Storm goes to Co-Forbidden, Pendulum's going to need to get some hits, and both of these are probably the ones to go for, since they're the only ones that people have proposed. Altergeist, again with Pankratops. Meliseek's just a really annoying card. Just ping them, break one of their cards every turn, kind of evades removal because you get the search. Another tap on the wrist for like one of the best decks in the format is never really a bad thing. Decatron going to Unlimited. People are scared of Decatron because you can go Void, don't know what it's called, the continuous spell card that searches Void Feast. So anytime you open the spell card, you can do the combo. Then you just play Feast, and you get 2 Decatrons, and is it Shijet? I'll have it on screen. And that gives you 2 negates. You also get to mill 5 things in total, because you're summoning the 2 Decatrons, the Shiet, and 2 other Infernoid cards off of the Decatrons, which are your negates. Yeah, I mean, the counter-argument is that you can just attack over the Decatron, but it's a very powerful first-turn play. Foolish Burial 5 times is quite good, and if Decatron's Co-Forbidden, which it is at the moment, you can't summon 2 of them, you can only summon 1 of them. So it depends on how good you want Infernoid to be, and if you want them to have a kind of, honestly, a little bit sacky first-turn opener. Chaos Dragon of Ionia, similar to BLS, but possibly better, because it can pop 2 cards but doesn't target. Seen it in Danger Blue Eyes, seen it in a lot of Chaos decks, Thunder Dragons, really enjoys this card. Both Sia and Dante, the Fusion Dante, to Unlimited. This would mean that every Burning Abyss card would be unlimited. Sia is currently Co-Forbidden because of the loop you can do with Dante. Sia summon Dante, Dante add back Sia, do it forever. If they only have 1 copy of Sia, you can then Call by the Grave or decrow their Sia, so kind of breaks the loop. Otherwise it's just really annoying to deal with. Dante Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss, the Fusion, currently Co-Forbidden, kind of just to make it so it's not a staple in Burning Abyss. Dante is a 2800 attack, can't be targeted, and once per turn you can discard a Burning Abyss to draw a card. it's kind of like a semi-unkillable boss. It's really difficult to deal with. You pretty much always need a 3000 attack monster to kill it. On top of that, you can also discard Farther to sort of interrupt your opponent, and you get it for free once you kill Beatrice, which is really not the easiest thing in the world to kill. If it's co-forbidden, it encourages the deck to consider playing a different co or play Virgil, which is really cool deck building sort of interaction there. If it's unlimited, everybody in this deck playing Beatrice just plays it, which is kind of annoying because Grape Dante isn't the easiest thing to deal with. Subterra Guru, we've done loads of testing with this, the deck is absurd. Subterra Flip was already really strong. Guru, just ban it, is the one solution to hitting the deck, because then it'll be like how it was before. The other option is hitting Hidden City to semi, and people also wanted to ban Fiendess, but that didn't make the proposals list. We'll see whether or not Hidden City does get hit. I don't think it's enough of a hit, since Subterra's is really strong as a deck. Otherwise, I think banning Guru, just to make sure the deck isn't like absurd, is probably the correct thing to do. Rainbow Neos. Rainbow Neos? Rainbow Neos. Yeah, kind of just an OTK card. You can summon it with one card, Neos Fusion I think it's called. People just don't like OTK cards, especially when there's like one thing that you can splash into most things, just to like have this really oppressive sort of damage output. Banning it just deals with that completely. Fisherman and Draconis and Witch's Strike, they're just dumb cards. Fisherman and Draconis were like admin banned, but we sort of redid the admin ban list and had a look at the things which are actually really oppressive and the things which we thought were oppressive but aren't really viable enough. What's interesting here is we're seeing Jackpot 7 get hit at the same time as Fisherman's coming off. I don't really think these cards are too oppressive, but I don't know. They're not going to destroy metagames, they're just not fun to play against. Witch's Strike, same sort of reasoning. It's not a good card. You can't use it in response to Ash Blossom. It only stops Solemn Warning, which is the next card and which is probably going to get co-forbidden. Just one of the best traps. Yeah, Witch's Strike isn't a good card, but if you do resolve it, the effect is literally just you win the game, which kind of goes against like fun interactive gameplay, so a lot of people just want this out of the way. Finally, on to Mika's crazy deck of the week. Really excited to show you this. Been testing it a little bit, not really enough, didn't have much time to test it. Nekroz, Nekloth. Nekloth has almost always been in Trinity, it's been this close to being good. Rituals as a mechanic have just been fucked by Yugioh. Like, it's so difficult to draw a ritual spell and the ritual monster and have the tribute fodder and then not lose when they like solemn warning you. Man, it's good to be back though. We're playing all of the Nekloths apart from the level 5 Catasta because he sucks. And then we're playing Impcantation Chalice Slime, which is new in Sast. You can ritual summon it with its own ritual spell, which we do actually play. Outside of that though, the effect that we're really interested in, you can reveal it in your hand and discard a card to summon any incantation from your deck. And if you don't ritual summon, you lose 2,500 life points in the end phase. You can also summon it and it like does something, I don't know, it's not really relevant. The thing is, this is like card advantage galore. Every turn, you're discarding a card to summon an incantation, which is then going to search another card, sets up your ritual fodder, as well as your ritual spell, because the incantation you summon is probably going to get your ritual spell. Oh, it's just a really, really solid card. The other new card here is Incantation Inception. Didn't really realise it was renamed. It lets us summon any ritual monster, but you have to tribute incantations. And it's got a really good effect when it's in the graveyard. You can send an incantation from your hand or field to the grave to special summon any incantation from your deck, and then add the ritual spell back from your grave to your hand. So if it's in your grave and you have an incantation, you can just send it to the grave, get more ritual fodder, add this back, and then the one you summon gets a search, so it just keeps setting up ritual monsters. Man, it's so good. Also playing hand traps, because firstly hand traps are really good, secondly because you can tribute them for ritual fodder sometimes, kind of cute. Deck doesn't really want to play too many traps because we're playing Solemn Scolding, just an end-all be-all of negates. This thing, which searches any ritual monster when it's activated, and then you could like maybe ritual summon a monster. I haven't really drawn it in testing too much. All the Nekloth ritual spell cards, all the incantations. You can read these in your own time if you don't know what they do, they're really strong. Got Trinities on the Plant and the Candle. Not too sure on playing both of them. I think we want to play one of them as an extra Trinity and an extra Preparation of Rites. Really not too sure. I think Punk Rock Lee's better than me at this. But for now, the rest of the build seems pretty solid. Playing all these like Searcher dudes, even Sonic Bird, because getting a thing on normal summon is good. Armageddon Knight and Tour Guide. Got the whole Tour Guide engine, as well as Jin Demolisher of Rituals. Armageddon Knight here sends Skarm to search Tour Guide, or it can send Jin, which can then be used from the graveyard as a level 7 material. So you can summon armor, send to this, then make Gungnir. Gungnir then can't be targeted by card effects, which makes it kind of better Zodiac Dryden maybe. You can also use Jin for Clausulus, which is really strong. Sangan off of Tour Guide, you can then summon Brionic, get a search, or you can just make Wee Witches as you normally would. Shrit is now legal in the TCG, I think, or it's always been legal in Trinity. Just a really solid card. The way I play this deck is kind of just to like spam Trishulas, but man, this deck's really skill intensive. E-Tele, because it summons the Pencil as well as Ghost Ogre, so you can actually make things like Samurai Destroyer with Black Rose that's come up a little bit. Extra Foolish Burial sends Nuptis or Herald of the Arclight just as another search. Really don't know on this one because you're paying half your life. We've also got all the other Foolish Burials, Foolish Burial Tribal, which mostly send the Incantation spells. Regular one can send Skarm or Jin. Rota searches all your good stuff. The rest of it's very standard, and the extra deck's just super standard. Quasar for Trishula and Klaus. This deck is so complicated to actually play though. Like, everything searches everything, so there's so many different routes you can go down. I could write a whole book on how to play Nekroz, and there's still more to like sort of learn about. Big tech at the end though, Mystic Tomato, which has actually been really solid in testing. Mostly just summoning Armageddon Knight, because it can then do your mill or whatever. It also summons your Impcantations, these two, which has been pretty good. I was also playing Last Will. Last Will's legal in Trinity, but it's kind of hard to proc. Other than that, this is looking to be a really solid deck, so I'm really excited. If you're a fan of Nekroz, give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, stay groovy!